Greeting, folks. This is Rhino Yosemite Roy here. About 10-15 years ago, my friend gave me just a massive amount of glass, so I started making this mosaic. Now it's been about 5 years in the making, so I thought I'd show you kind of how I did it, so in case you're interested in doing something yourself. Enjoy. Well, I finished all these sunbeams. Unfortunately, I don't really have the yellow I wish I could keep using. So we're going with orange, and I don't have any more of this beautiful blue, so we're going with the whole mix of anything close. Maybe I'll look into buying some blue glass, I don't know. Well, I took about 2 years off from the Great Wall of Tile here, and I'm back at it. I ran out of this beautiful yellow, blue, green. So we're going into this orange that I found. And this hasn't been grouted yet. Freshly put up there. A little vision of what's coming. Alrighty then, we've gotten the sun rays done. All grouted. I'm probably gonna look into finding some different blue somewhere. And keep moving along. Well, I decided to add a cloud at the top because some bigger tiles, the little stuff is really getting time consuming. It's tough to do, so that killed a little space for me. Moving right along, baby. In case you're wondering, yes, you gotta have a lot of time on your hands, be some of a sick man to do a mosaic like this. Even once you get the stuff on the wall, you gotta get all the cement out of the cracks so the grout can look good and not have cement showing through. Very time consuming. Unfortunately, my friend Reverend Mike gave me all this glass and I couldn't let it go to waste. And here I am. Years in the making, still scraping. Since I'm filming all this nonsense, I thought I might as well teach you something. Show you how to grout things. Now, I put some Jesus rays in there also because I'm basically out of blue. And we got the clouds almost grouted. A section there to finish. I'll show you how it's done. Now, if you had regular tile, you'd use a tool like this to spread it in the nice even cracks. But since we're dealing with glass and uneven surfaces, I found it way better to just smear it in there. And it'll fill up one of these Jesus rays. The other tool just don't even work because it's just too sharp and gnarly everywhere. That's the way we do it right there. I found in this sort of situation with grouting, it's best to try to just grind some of the excess off before you even start sponging. It's been quite a joy using this white stuff because everything else is black. Now, black grout is like 100 times harder to do than any other color. Every time you dip your sponge in the bucket, it's just, the water's dirty. You gotta change out like a dozen times. With this, 1 or 2 changings, way easier. Now, grouting was always kind of my specialty, and with thousands of hours of grouting under my belt, here's a great tip for you. Instead of just dirtying all your water, because it's all about clean water with grout, which is why black is so hard. Have that one and then go to cleaner water, just dip it, go back over. That way, at least one of your buckets of water is kind of clean. Then you're taking your sponge and basically trying to get all the little bubbles and stuff off of the tiles and make it look nice, which is where the black stuff is so hard to do. Just constant dirty water and the black smears everywhere. So it's quite a joy doing the white. But yeah, just kind of check your grout lines, smooth them out, get all that excess off there. This is part of the glass selection we're using. Pretty nice pieces and kind of running low. Although I have a lot of boxes of not so fancy colors left. Maybe do something in the future with that. I reckon since I already gave you some grouting tips, might as well show you how this goes on the wall. Since I'm using cinder block, I'm putting it on. It's a good idea to kind of wet up the zone you're going to be working in, because the cinder block will really soak up the water. So I use thin set. That's what you'd use on your normal tile job, and this here tool, the little notches in it. Now ideally you'd have some room to apply the notches, but we're doing this little skinny zone. See what we can do. I want to get little lines like that, so when you put your gems and glass, it doesn't all smush through so bad, and then less scraping. Then you gotta go ahead and make sure you get it all off of any tile and out of the cracks there. Just do a little at a time. If it's sunny and a dry cement wall like this, as it dries pretty quickly, it's crucial to clean up anything you've put the cement on. Alrighty, then you take your glass or gems and start putting them in there. I give each one a little tap. Now you can see where the lines are. Way better than where it's not, because all this would have to get scraped out at some point. Whereas where the lines are, it's not really smushing through. And you stick them in and tap them. And kind of give it a little bit of this. Now there's no way to get the proper tool in this zone, so we're going to use this guy, a little trowel. Try to keep it thin to avoid too much smushing through. Once again, we have to clean all these white tiles. Kind of a tough situation. There's another section done. Now as you can see up here, we got quite a lot of cement. It's all going to have to get scraped out. And this is what it'll look like when it is finished. Look at that. Woo-wee. Now if you're doing this on a cinder block wall like me, and it's a sunny day like today, you just want to spread a little thin set, tiny spot at a time, so it dries up really quick. You want to wet your wall first. Some more tips from Petrified Roy, Tile Man. So like I was saying, you don't want squishing through too much, and the other big tip is do this before it's totally dry. Like pretty dry but soft enough to just come out. Otherwise it's like cement, super hard. So it's been sitting here for about 4 hours, so as long as you do it within that same day, you should be all right. As you're doing this, you're bound to have a few fall out since the cement really isn't totally hardened. You can just re-stick those with the grout later. The grout will hold them in there just fine. Then once we're done scraping, I take a little paintbrush, I get all the extra dust out of there so it doesn't show up in the grout. And I generally don't wait too long to grout, just so it can all get stabilized. So, well, unfortunately, we're all done with the easy to do white grout, and now we're back to the black stuff, which is very difficult, and we're trying to keep it out of the white. There'll be a lot of sponging going on here. Fill in that last section, finish that and grout it, and then we'll be ready for the big premiere of the mighty Mosaic. Alrighty, that concludes the mosaic on the Great Wall of Tile. All finished up. Well, there might be a little spot up in the corner, but it's good to leave something for later. Well, I originally had just done the sun part and then took 2 or 3 years off, just this yellow stuff, because it's a lot of time consuming. But then I watched a movie on the guy that did the Watts Towers, and that inspired me. And I thought, well, I should get back at it. And now we are officially done. Would have liked to have all the blue and green that I have up here, but have to work with the good Lord gives you. I hope you enjoyed the video. Fancy tile work, I tell you. All your tax money's going to a good purpose. Building is just beautiful. Getting into bed. Oh.